If you have an anti-cancer drug, then that's what's going to be taught. And cancer drugs, drugs for cardiovascular disease are very expensive. Takes a long time to develop. The regulatory process, I believe, has deliberately been made very cumbersome so that only people, institutions with a lot of money can afford to get through them. If you take natural substances like vitamins, like minerals, or like treatments that don't involve expensive processes, can't be patented, that anyone can probably do out of reading a book, or a group of physicians get together and study methods and do it with their own patients, it eliminates the economic incentive for these companies to continue funding higher education, grants, studies, and it also removes control of the medical process from the doctors, from the schools, and from the government regulatory apparatus. If patients and doctors are allowed to utilize whatever methods they believe will work in a particular situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Vice President of the Cancer Control Society, who is here in Los Angeles at the Sheraton Universal at 333 Universal Terrace Parkway. And the Cancer Control Convention begins today at 9 o'clock in the morning with registration at 8, all the way through Monday, September 6th. If you're interested, you can pay $10 at the door and come, or if you want to just see the exhibits, or you can go to the booths. You can browse around and talk to people, or you can go to the actual lectures that are happening for $35 per day. And I want to thank you for being with It's Rainmaking Time, and thank you for your work and dedication. And we hope to have you back to talk more about both the opportunities of the research and the solutions surrounding cancer, and also how can we make the politics less political.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being here, and look forward to seeing your audience at the Sheraton Universal this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to It's Rainmaking Time. We are streaming this show live on the World Wide Web. We are here with Barbara Harper, the founder of Waterbirth International, and Roberta Scare. We welcome you back, and now I'd like to invite you all to call in on our 800 number. We'd like to hear from you and address your questions to Barbara Harper and Roberta Scare on Waterbirth. And the call-in number, ladies and gentlemen, write this down, is 1-877-625-3724. Let me repeat. We want to hear from you. We'd really like your audience participation at 877-625-3724. And because three's the charm, I'm going to take it from the top and do it again. 1-877-625-3724. We'd like to hear from you wherever you're streaming this show in the United States of America, whether it's in Europe or Canada. We'd like to hear from you. Okay, in the meantime, while people are either getting ready to call, thinking they're going to call, wondering if they should call, or calling, let's come back to It's Rainmaking Time.
Hey, Kim, I think I want to go down to L.A. to that cancer conference. That sounds great.
It's a wonderful conference here right through Monday of this week. And I think it's Labor Day, no pun intended.
Well, it gave me a chance to think about what the conference is doing is offering empowerment of individuals. And that's what Waterbirth does, and that's what Normal Birth does. Barbara was talking about placing the emphasis on how good it is for the baby to have a normal birth. But I also want to...
We do have a caller, by the way, but go right ahead.
You can't separate the mother and the baby, and I know Barbara never does this. What's good for the baby is good for the mother, and at some point I'd like us just to talk a little bit about the ecstasy and empowerment that you can have in a normal birth.
Okay, that may end up being another show, as we have about 12 minutes left. We have Roberta on the line from North Carolina. Good morning, and welcome to It's Rainmaking Time.
Good morning, good morning. I couldn't believe this is a better show than last week. I'd like to say that on a metaphysical level, it seems that underwater birth gives the soul the exact and perfect birth time astrologically. Induced births, especially with the C-sections that have been talked about this morning, take away every opportunity that the soul has to have an exact birth time. And a lot of people get their lives very messed up because the birth time is not correct. So these women are on absolutely the right path. I just thought that I'd bring in another aspect of it.
Roberta, could you please take just 1 minute and give your credentials, your background, and the work you're in that you could say such a statement?
Yes. My work for more than 33 years has been as a reader of the Akashic Records. And these are records of lifetimes that people have lived. And the birth time is very important. I'm not an astrologer, but the time of birth that people have is down to the nanosecond. And when you have a birth, I'm real clear on this, when you have a birth that is induced just because the doctor wants to go out and golfing, I'm smiling, is very, very bad for the soul. And I find that a lot of people who've talked with their mother, and when the mother has said, yes, I had an induced birth, I had a C-section, or they did whatever that they did, and it was not a water birth and whatever, their lives have been very messed up. It's kind of like they're always missing something in their life because nothing is meshed. There's no meshing in their life that makes things on a very nice continual plane. So the work that these women are doing is phenomenal to bring the correct way of birthing in, which gives the exact birth time. There are a lot of children that are born that are in incubators and they're not breathing very well. The soul has not come into the body. So my work has been over more than 3 decades, and I'm real clear about this, and this is a wonderful show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is important that we allow babies to time their births, and that's a very important point, because birth shouldn't be hurried at all. And when we medicalize birth and institutionalize it, we put it on a clock. And I have a very cute film from Switzerland where the midwives go over, and the first thing in the film is they go over and it's like a silent movie, but they go over and they take the clock off the birth room wall, they walk over, they open the garbage pail, and they plop the clock into it. And birth has to be on its own schedule and its own time. And we wait for the baby, and we do, just like Roberta said in the beginning, that the mother accommodates to the baby and the baby accommodates to the mother, and it becomes this wonderful dance. Well, when you walk into the hospital, let's take, for example, if your membranes, your water has broken, your water breaks on the floor of your kitchen, and you don't go into labor right away, but you go to the hospital and have a consultation with them. They want that baby delivered, in some places, no more than 12 hours later. And they will do things to speed up the labor or to initiate it, or they'll do a cesarean section because they want the baby delivered. Why do they want the baby delivered? Yes, there are studies that say that you have an increased risk of infection, but there's also opposite studies that say you can wait safely up to 72 hours without a greater risk of infection. So we're asking for that happy medium, and fortunately there are some great studies now out of Sweden that were published that you can wait that 72 hours and still have a water birth. One of my second most often asked questions is, won't I get an infection if I sit in the water, if I poop in the water, if I pee in the water, all of that. It's your body. It's your germ and environment, and the answer is no. The body of water kind of takes care of any possibility of infection whatsoever.
Do you think that people actually believe that part regarding bacteria? If you're excreting in the water, do you think that the common person believes that? Or
oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes. I get that question many, many times. I sit in an office in Portland, Oregon, and when I'm not lecturing, and I'm here 14 to 15 hours a day, and we get hundreds of emails. Our website gets 200,000 hits a month. 200,000 hits a month. Women want this information. Let me digress just a tiny bit. I want to finish what the statistics are in Keene, New Hampshire.
And we have about 7 minutes, so just so you
know
time. Sure, that's okay.
Very quickly, in that time period where they reduced their cesarean section rate to 42%,